My former roommate only moved in with me so that she could be closer to my dad, and it turns out that they'd been having a full-blown affair, but now there's a chance she gets hired at the same place I work, and I can't handle it. I am employed by a nonprofit that works with low-income students. I love my job and think my doing it has a positive impact on others. I like my boss and coworkers. We also have an employee who kind of works as an assistant who does data input and organizes our lecture schedules. We are hiring a new person for that position, and our manager sent us a short list of people she was considering. She asked us if we had any input/prior interaction with the candidates. The problem is, I do, and I don't know how to broach it with her. I don't think I can work professionally with one of the candidates. Let's call her Cersei. We used to be friends and she was my roommate for a brief time, including when I was hired by this organization, so they know I know her. However, a few months ago I walked in on Cersei and my father having intimacy. It turned out that they had been having a full-blown affair for as long as we'd been roommates. Apparently one of the reasons she'd moved in with me was to be closer to him. I've completely cut Cersei out of my life. My father is obviously also complicit, but my mom is staying married to him, so I don't really trust myself to interact with her without going all septa unella shame on her, and now there's a chance she's going to be hired into a position I'd have to frequently work with her in. My questions are these. The manager asked us to tell her if we had any input on the hiring decision. What do I say? Do I have the grounds to say anything? Because I actually think Cersei's a decent fit for the position, but there's no way in heck I can work with her. If Cersei is hired, how can I work with her? Because I love this job and don't want Cersei to be the reason I quit. Update. Your advice and the advice of your commentators were spot on. I spoke to my boss a few hours after the thread went up. I went with the script you all suggested. My boss was really glad I came to her. She had already scheduled an interview with Cersei before I came to her, but she let me know that they weren't planning to hire her. And she didn't. I know there are a lot of sad updates about bosses not holding to things they promise, but this isn't one of them. I work well with the GA they ended up hiring, and continue to enjoy my job. Unfortunately, Cersei was hired by another department my job has some overlap with, so I have to see her more than I'd like. To be fair, I'd never like to see her, but every week or so is definitely too much. I'm professional when I have to interact with her, even though I wish I could ignore her. It would definitely be too apparent to coworkers if I were cold to her. The opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference, and I'm working on becoming indifferent to her. Luckily, she should be finishing her program this spring. I was pretty active in the comments of the post, and I really can't express just how grateful I am for the advice and kindness of so many people. I was really struggling with feelings of isolation, like I had to bear this secret by myself, and it was a profound relief to get to talk about it. The professional and life advice/input I received were absolutely incredible. A few weeks after I wrote, I ended up sitting down to have a conversation with Cersei. In the immediate aftermath of discovering the affair, she told me that she'd be open to talking whenever I was ready. I felt ready, and my therapist supported me, so I reached out. It was a frustrating conversation, but one I'm glad I had. She didn't have good answers to the questions I had, but there were also no good answers to the questions I had. I hope that makes sense? There's still a lot of grief and sadness I'm still dealing with, and I'm working on letting my life continue. My parents are still kind of together, and I intend to stick by my mom wherever she goes from here. Thank you so much for helping me stick up for myself, and all your professional advice.